Hey there. I know why you're here. You're looking for a story that will help you drift off into a peaceful sleep. Something calming, a little mysterious. Something that carries your mind away. Well, you've come to the right place. Before we begin tonight's journey, do me a little favor. Tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Even just a good night. It really helps more sleepy souls like you find their way here. Now, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's begin tonight's story. They say if you hear 3 knocks in the dead of night, never answer, not with words, not with a knock of your own. But I didn't listen. Night after night, the sound came, soft, patient, always at the same time. And when the knocking stopped, I thought it was finally over. I was wrong. That's when it began whispering my name. A voice I hadn't heard in 20 years. A voice that shouldn't exist anymore. At first it was comforting, familiar in a way that made my chest ache. But soon I realized, whatever this is, it isn't her. Now it doesn't knock. It doesn't wait. It's here, in the walls, in the air I breathe, calling me closer with words only my mother would know. And no matter how tightly I close my eyes, I can still feel its cold breath against my ear. The first night it happened, I didn't think much of it. It was 2:13 a.m. I remember because I'd just checked the clock after waking up for no reason at all. The house was silent, except for the hum of the refrigerator downstairs. Then I heard it. 3 knocks, soft, measured, not frantic, not accidental, just intentional. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, thinking it had to be the house settling. Old pipes. Maybe a neighbor coming home late. But something about the rhythm made my stomach twist. 3 distinct taps, evenly spaced, like someone with all the time in the world. My heart thumped as I strained my ears. Nothing followed, no footsteps, no voices, only silence that seemed too heavy, as though it were waiting. I pulled the blanket tighter around me and shut my eyes. By morning, I'd convinced myself it was a dream, or at least tried to. The second night, it came again. Same time, same 3 knocks. This time louder, closer. I froze in bed, every muscle locked. The sound came from the hall outside my bedroom door. My throat went dry as I stared at the faint outline of the door in the darkness. My phone was on the nightstand, but I didn't dare reach for it. Somehow, turning on a light felt like an invitation. 3 knocks, a pause. The silence felt alive. Thick, breathing, pressing in on me. I waited, praying for the sound of retreating footsteps, but nothing came. I don't know how long I lay there, heart pounding, before sleep finally dragged me under. By the 5th night, I stopped pretending it wasn't real. The knocks were louder now, so strong I swore I saw the door frame tremble. Always at 2:13 a.m., like clockwork. 3 knocks, a pause, silence. I started leaving lights on, but they didn't help. The glow only seemed to make the shadows in the corners deeper, thicker. I thought about calling someone, friends, family, even the police. But what would I say? That the darkness was knocking, that I was scared of a sound. I felt ridiculous, a grown man too afraid to open his bedroom door. But deep down, I knew it wasn't ridiculous. Something was out there, something patient, and whatever it was, it wanted me to respond. I tried to drown it out. I stuffed pillows over my ears, played music on my phone until the battery died. But no matter how loud I turned it up, the knocking cut through. It was inescapable. The sound wasn't just in my ears anymore. It was in my chest, in my teeth, vibrating through my bones. On the 8th night, I whispered to myself, "Don't answer, don't even breathe loud," because some primal part of me, some ancient animal instinct buried in my DNA, knew that answering was the worst thing I could do. That's what it was waiting for. A response. Any response. And once I gave it that, I didn't know what would happen. The 10th night was the worst yet. I didn't sleep at all, lying awake in a cold sweat, eyes fixed on the door. The knocking came, heavier now, more insistent. 3 sharp blows, a pause, then silence that seemed to stretch on forever. But this time, there was something else. Faint, almost lost beneath the sound, like a voice trying to push through water. My name, whispered so softly, I wasn't sure if I heard it at all. My skin went cold. I hadn't heard my name spoken like that in decades, not since I was a child. The cadence, the tone, it was so familiar it made my throat ache. But it couldn't be her. It couldn't be my mother. She had been dead for over 20 years. I wanted to believe I imagined it. Sleep deprivation, stress, a mind playing cruel tricks in the darkness. But when the knocking came again the next night, the voice came too. Louder now, but still wrapped in that unbearable softness. My name, over and over, each syllable dripping with something between affection and hunger. I squeezed my eyes shut, fists clenching the sheets. This isn't real, I told myself. It's not her, but in my heart, I felt a pull, a memory of warm hands tucking me in, of lullabies in the dark, of her whispering my name to soothe me. Only now the whisper wasn't soothing. It was cold, patient, hungry, and it was so very close. The 11th night came and went in suffocating silence. No knocks, no whispers, just stillness so deep, it felt wrong. At first I thought it was over. Relief flickered through me, fragile and desperate, but it didn't last. The silence wasn't comforting. It was heavy, like the air before a storm. Every sound in the house seemed amplified. The tick of the clock, the faint hum of the refrigerator. Even my own breathing felt too loud, too intrusive. I kept staring at the door, waiting, heart pounding with a hollow, fearful rhythm. The absence of knocking didn't bring peace. It felt like a pause, like something out there was thinking, planning, watching me. By the 12th night, the silence was unbearable. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring into the darkness, every light in the house burning. My phone battery was dead again. I couldn't bring myself to leave the room to find a charger. I kept hearing faint creaks in the walls, like footsteps muffled by wood and plaster. But every time I held my breath to listen closer, the sounds stopped. And then I thought I heard it. A faint sigh, just beyond my door. My blood turned cold. It wasn't the knock this time. It was something worse. A breath, slow, even as though whatever was out there wasn't knocking, because it didn't need to anymore. It was closer now, waiting. On the 13th night, I dreamed of her. My mother, she was standing at the end of the hall, her face lost in shadow, but her voice was warm and sweet. She called my name the way she used to when I was small, when she wanted me to come in from playing. "It's late," she said softly. "Come on, baby, come to me." Her arms were open. For a moment, I almost stepped forward. Then I woke up, gasping, cold sweat soaking my sheets. But the dream didn't fade. I could still hear her voice. It lingered like an echo. Or maybe it wasn't just in my head, because as I sat frozen in the dark, I heard it again, faint but clear, coming from the other side of my bedroom door. "Come here, sweetheart. It's okay. Mommy's here now." I pressed my hands to my ears, squeezing my eyes shut, whispering to myself like a mantra, "It's not her. It's not her. It's not her." But my resolve was slipping. There was something about the voice that burrowed deep, tugging at memories I hadn't touched in decades. Her lullabies, the smell of her hair, the way she used to hum when folding laundry. But that wasn't possible. She was gone. And yet, each night, the voice grew clearer, more insistent. I didn't want to believe it, but a part of me, some small, fragile part, wanted to open the door, to see her, to believe she had come back. That part of me terrified me most of all. On the 14th night, I made a mistake. I whispered back, just one word. No, my voice was hoarse from disuse, barely more than a breath, but it was enough. The air in the room seemed to shift, growing colder, heavier. The voice on the other side of the door went silent for a long, agonizing moment. Then it laughed, low, soft, almost tender. "Oh, my sweet boy," it whispered. And this time there was no warmth in it, only hunger. "You knocked first. You let me in." My stomach dropped. My mind clawed through memories, trying to understand. I didn't knock. I never knocked. But a faint image surfaced, a memory I had long buried. A little boy, alone in his room after his mother's funeral, crying, knocking 3 times on the floor. Again, it had been again. Knock 3 times, and Mommy will answer. My chest tightened with terror. Had someone answered? Now the nights blur together. I don't know how many it's been. I don't sleep anymore. I just sit, staring at the door, listening. The knocking hasn't returned, only the voice. It whispers my name endlessly, sometimes sweet, sometimes pleading, sometimes angry. It asks, voice trembling like it's on the verge of tears, "Don't you love me anymore?" Other times it hisses, venomous, ungrateful, "You called me here. You're mine." I can't tell which is worse, the tender words or the hateful ones. Both sound too much like her. Both make me want to scream. But I don't. I won't give it the satisfaction. Last night, something new happened. The doorknob began to turn. Slowly, deliberately. My heart nearly stopped. I threw myself across the room and pressed my weight against the door, praying it would hold. The metal latch clicked, and the handle stilled. Then the whisper came again, so close it felt like it was breathing directly into my ear through the wood. "I'm so proud of you," it crooned. "You grew up so strong. Let Mommy see you." My tears came hot and fast. I wanted to scream, but no sound would come. I realized, with a jolt of pure terror, that I wasn't sure anymore if it was trying to get in, or if it was already inside. The 15th night came and went, in a blur of fear and exhaustion. I didn't dare sleep. My body ached from days of tension, every muscle locked, as if bracing for impact. But the voice didn't come. No whispers, no knocks. Just silence, so thick it felt alive, coiled around me like a predator, watching from the dark. I thought maybe it had gone. Maybe my refusal to answer had made it lose interest. But deep down I didn't believe that. The absence wasn't relief. It was anticipation, like something holding its breath, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. My house felt smaller now. The air heavier, every corner a place where it could be standing unseen. On the 16th night, I heard it breathing, not through the door this time, not outside in the hall. It was inside my room. slow, steady inhalations, as though it were lying beside me in the darkness. My skin crawled as I lay frozen, unable to move or even blink. I felt the mattress dip slightly, like weight shifting. The air near my face grew cold, wet with the faint scent of soil and something sweet gone sour, like old flowers left to rot. Then it spoke, voice softer than ever, almost tender. "You're such a good boy, always listening, always waiting for Mommy." My eyes burned with tears. I didn't understand. I wanted to scream, but the sound lodged in my throat like a stone. I realized, in that moment, I didn't know if my eyes were closed because I was too afraid to look, or because it was already holding them shut. The 17th night never truly ended. I stopped marking time. Day and night blurred together in the dim haze of my locked bedroom. Food rotted, untouched on my nightstand. My phone lay dead, screen cracked from the one time I'd hurled it across the room in terror. The whispers never left now. They came in waves, cooing, pleading, angry. "Why do you hide from me? Didn't you miss me? Don't you love me anymore?" Each word carried her cadence, her tone, but it wasn't her. I told myself that again and again. It wasn't her, but some traitorous part of me still wanted to believe. That part whispered back in my mind. What if it is her? What if she found a way back? The 18th night, or was it the 20th? I heard her laugh, a soft musical sound, just like I remembered. But beneath it, something cracked, a rasping undertone, like wind through dry leaves, jagged and wrong. It wasn't a laugh made for me. It wasn't made for anyone. "Do you remember the game?" the voice whispered in my ear. "Knock 3 times, Mommy answers. That's what you said. That's what you wanted." My stomach churned. I did remember. A stupid childhood ritual, born from grief and loneliness. After her funeral, I'd sat alone in my room, knocking on the floorboards 3 times and whispering, "Mommy, come back." It had been a game, a way to feel close to her. But what if something else had been listening? Now I hear it, even when I'm awake. It no longer waits for 2:13 a.m. The whisper follows me into the bathroom, into the kitchen, even in broad daylight. It's everywhere, curling in my ears like smoke. "You're mine," it whispers sweetly. "You asked for me. I came." My reflection in the mirror looks hollow-eyed, pale, a ghost haunting its own home. The sound of my name in that voice makes my heart ache and curdle at once. I don't know how much longer I can stand it. The line between memory and nightmare is gone. Sometimes I catch myself whispering back, before I even realize I'm doing it. Last night, or today, I can't tell anymore. The voice changed again. It didn't sound like my mother this time. It was lower, rougher, scraping like stone against stone. "Enough games," it growled. "You let me in. Now I'm here. Open your eyes." My fists clenched so tight. My nails drew blood from my palms. I kept them shut. I didn't dare look, but the air around me shifted, pressure building like a storm about to break. I felt it leaning closer, its cold breath on my face. "Open your eyes, little boy," it whispered. "Let me see how much you've grown." For a second, I thought I felt fingers brushing my hair, skeletal and ice cold. I wept silently, praying for the sun that never seemed to come. Now I don't know if I'm awake or dreaming. The voice is constant, a soundtrack to my every breath. It doesn't knock anymore. It doesn't have to. It's in the walls, in the floorboards, in my head. "Don't you want to see me?" it asks sweetly. I came all this way for you. I shake my head, clutching my knees to my chest. But it doesn't matter. I feel its presence everywhere. No doors can keep it out. No light can chase it away. And deep down, I know the truth. It isn't waiting for me to open the door. It's waiting for me to give up, to whisper back, to let it wear me down until I say the words it craves most. I missed you too. I don't know what day it is anymore. Time has dissolved into a blur of whispers and darkness. I stopped counting the nights after 20, if it even is still night. The curtains stay drawn, but I can feel the sun hasn't risen in days. The house feels wrong, like it's folding in on itself. The air is too still, too heavy. Even the clocks have stopped ticking. It no longer waits until 2:13 a.m. to speak. It talks all the time now. It doesn't leave me alone, not when I shower, not when I sit frozen in my bed, not even when I try to pray. I'll take care of you. Mommy's here now, but there's no warmth in it anymore. The sweetness feels hollow, a mask stretched too tight over something feral. I keep my eyes closed most of the time, terrified of what I'll see if I open them, terrified that I'll look, and it'll be sitting right there. Last night, or was it an hour ago, it tried the door again. The handle rattled, slow and deliberate, as though testing my resolve. Then came the scratching, long dragging nails or claws, scraping down the wood in rhythmic patterns. "Open up, sweetheart," it whispered, and I swear I felt hot breath against my cheek, even though I was alone in the room. My heart thudded painfully in my chest as I pressed myself into the corner, arms wrapped tight around my knees. "Don't make Mommy wait," it hissed. The voice deepened then, guttural and sharp, like splintered wood tearing itself apart. "You asked for me. You knocked. You begged." My mind replayed that memory again. Tiny fists knocking on the floorboards after her funeral, whispering a childish plea. "Mommy, come back. A game," I told myself. Just a game. But what if it hadn't been? I haven't eaten in days. My stomach cramps, but I can't bring myself to leave the room. Every time I approach the door, I hear it breathing on the other side. Slow, calm, waiting. The air smells wrong now, thick with the scent of damp soil and something metallic, like rust or blood. I shoved my dresser in front of the door days ago, but it doesn't matter. Nothing feels like it would matter. Sometimes, in the silence between whispers, I think I hear it moving inside the walls. Little shuffling sounds, fingernails or worse, scratching from within the plaster. I tell myself I'm imagining it, but deep down, I know the truth. The knocking didn't stop because it went away. It stopped because it doesn't need to knock anymore. It's already inside. The voice doesn't even try to sound like her now. Its tone slips and cracks, sometimes high and lilting like a mocking child, sometimes low and guttural like an animal. "You're mine," it growls. "You've always been mine." Other times it sobs, broken and desperate. "Why won't you let me hold you? I'm so lonely." Each word drives another splinter of dread into me, because sometimes I want to answer. My lips almost form the words without me realizing. "I missed you too." But I bite down until I taste blood, forcing the words back. I can't give it what it wants. Whatever it is, it's been waiting too long. Yesterday, or was it earlier today, I heard my mother's voice again. Not the warped, hungry mimicry the thing usually uses, but her real voice, gentle, loving. She said my name the way she used to when she'd find me hiding under the blankets during a storm. "It's okay, baby. You can come out now. My heart twisted. For a single foolish second, I believed it. I almost stood, almost walked to the door. But then I heard it, barely audible. A second voice, layered beneath hers, inhuman. A rasping hiss, wet and guttural, that spoke over her words. Come out. Let me in. Let me wear you. My legs gave out, and I fell to the floor, sobbing silently. Tonight I felt it touch me. I hadn't heard it approach. There were no knocks, no whispers, no rattling doorknob. Just cold fingers brushing the hair from my forehead. I froze, muscles locking in pure terror. The voice came from directly above me, now so close its breath ruffled my hair. Don't you feel safe? My teeth chattered as I tried not to scream. I don't know how long it stayed. Minutes, hours. Eventually, the fingers withdrew, but I could still feel the phantom sensation of them lingering. I haven't moved since. I'm too afraid to. I know now, it doesn't need the door. It never did. The knocking was never to get in. It was to let me know it was already here. And soon, I think it won't be content to whisper. I can feel it getting bolder, drawing closer, as though my resistance only excites it. I don't know how much longer I can hold out. My body is weak, my mind fraying at the edges. If I give in, if I whisper back, it will be over. Part of me wants that, to end the waiting, to let it in fully. But another part, the last sane part, keeps repeating the words like a prayer. Don't answer, don't knock, don't speak, don't let it see you break. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up to the sound of breathing, not mine, not from outside the door. It was closer, slow, deep inhalations, the rise and fall of lungs right beside my ear. My body refused to move. It felt as if invisible hands were pressing me into the mattress, heavy and cold. My eyelids fluttered, but I didn't open them. I couldn't. A single thought looped in my mind, like a broken record. Don't look, don't see it, don't let it know you're awake. The breath was wet and uneven, whistling faintly like air through cracked teeth. You're awake, aren't you? The voice whispered, softer than a sigh. My chest tightened. I hadn't made a sound. I hadn't even twitched, but somehow it knew. The air around me felt wrong, thick and sour, carrying the faint stench of earth and decay. I could almost hear it smiling, if a smile could make sound. I used to watch you sleep when you were small. It whispered, its tone syrupy and sweet. Do you remember, baby? I bit the inside of my cheek so hard, I tasted iron, fighting to keep silent. You were always so precious, so perfect, and now you've grown so much. I felt the mattress shift as though weight settled beside me, and an icy fingertip traced the line of my jaw. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I couldn't even flinch. I was trapped inside my own skin, paralyzed by terror and the suffocating presence, pressing closer. I don't know how long it stayed there. Minutes, hours. Time means nothing here anymore. When it finally left, or at least pretended to, I lay trembling, staring at the ceiling, gasping for air as tears stung my eyes. My throat was raw from the screams I'd swallowed. I didn't move until the weak grey light of dawn slipped through the curtains. But even then, the sense of being watched didn't fade. The house felt wrong in the daylight, hollowed out and heavy with silence. I wanted to leave, to run, but every time I got as far as the door, I heard it again, a faint whisper from nowhere. Leaving won't help. I'll follow. The words weren't a threat. They were a fact. The first time I heard the laugh, I thought I was losing my mind. It started low and breathy, then built into something shrill and broken, a sound that didn't belong in any human throat. It echoed in the walls, in the floorboards, even inside my head. I pressed my palms over my ears, rocking back and forth on the floor like a child, but it didn't help. Poor thing, it crooned, when the laughter faded. You wanted Mummy so badly, you brought me here. My stomach knotted as memories came unbidden, my tiny fists knocking 3 times on the floor after her funeral, whispering for her to come back. The game, I'd been just a boy, desperate and grieving, but had something heard. The thought made bile rise in my throat. I wanted to deny it, but the thing's voice slid between my thoughts like a cold blade. You asked for me, and I never forgot. It no longer confines itself to the nights. It's always there now. When I move from one room to another, I hear its footsteps mimic mine, just a fraction too late to be my echo. When I speak, even to myself, it whispers my words back, but slower, stretched thin and sticky like honey. My reflection has started to change too. When I look in the bathroom mirror, my lips don't always move with my words. Sometimes my reflection smiles when I don't. Yesterday I swear it whispered, "Let me wear you." I smashed the mirror after that, but even without it, I can feel its grin, wide and hungry, curling behind my own face. The knocking returned last night, but this time it didn't come from the door. It came from under the bed, 3 sharp raps against the wooden floor beneath me. I bolted upright, heart hammering, legs trembling so badly, I thought they might give out. Then came the whisper, floating up through the mattress. "I'm underneath. Just look. Just say hello." I pressed my hands to my ears, shaking my head violently. "Don't you miss me, baby?" It crooned. "Don't you want to see what I've become for you?" The voice was so soft, so maternal, it almost broke me. I almost spoke back, almost leaned over the edge of the bed, but something stopped me, some tiny fragment of self-preservation whispering in my head. "If you look, it's over. I don't know how much longer I can resist. My body is failing, weak, dehydrated, shaking constantly. My mind slips in and out of lucid thought. Sometimes I swear I hear 2 voices now. The first is hers, the sweet, loving tone I remember. The second is deeper, jagged, raw, like something vast and inhuman, trying to cram itself into her voice. They overlap, tangled like roots, whispering in perfect harmony. Let us in, last night, or maybe it was this morning, I found myself standing in front of the door with my hand on the knob. I didn't remember getting up. The voice on the other side purred. "That's it, sweetheart. Just turn it. Let me see you." My fingers twitched. My chest heaved. For a heartbeat, I almost did it. But then I yanked my hand away, collapsing to the floor in sobbing fits. It's wearing me down. It doesn't need to break in. It's just waiting for me to break. The days and nights bleed together now. I can't tell where one ends and the other begins. The curtains stay closed, but even if I ripped them down, I know I wouldn't see the sun. The light outside isn't right anymore. Sometimes it flickers like a dying bulb. Sometimes it's red, seeping through the cracks like blood, diluted in water. But mostly, there's just darkness pressing against the windows, thick and unyielding, as though the house is no longer on my street, in my city, in my world. It's somewhere else now. Somewhere that doesn't need time or light or air. And in this place, it's always here with me, always breathing, always whispering, always waiting for me to finally give up and say the words it wants. It stopped pretending to be her. The voice has grown deeper, guttural, like the sound of wind dragging through broken pipes. But every so often it slips, just for a second, and I hear her tone again. Sweet, gentle, a weapon disguised as comfort. "You're so strong," it murmured earlier, words brushing my ear like cold fingertips. "But even the strongest boys get tired. Let mommy hold you, just for a little while." I pressed my palms to my ears until they ached, but the voice didn't stop. It seeped into my head, bypassing sound, wrapping around my thoughts, like ivy strangling a tree. "It's so lonely out here. Don't you miss me?" And part of me wanted to say yes. Part of me wanted the warmth of her arms, even if they weren't really hers. I started hearing it inside the walls 2 days ago, or what I think was 2 days. At first, it was faint, a shuffle here, a scrape there, like something large crawling slowly through the house's bones. Now it's louder, closer. It moves with deliberate slowness, dragging itself toward wherever I am. When I run to another room, it follows, the sounds traveling impossibly fast from one wall to the next. Yesterday, I thought I saw fingers, long pale things like jointed twigs, poking through a crack in the plaster near the ceiling. They withdrew the moment I blinked, but the hole they left behind still leaks a faint foul smell, like rote, like something long dead and wet. I pushed a chair against the wall to cover it, but the scratching came back anyway, this time from directly under my bed. I don't sleep anymore. I can't. Every time I close my eyes, I hear its voice clearer. Not in my ears, but in my head. It doesn't need the walls or the door anymore. It's past them now. "You're letting me in already, baby," it crooned this morning. Every thought of me pulls me closer. Every fear feeds me. I screamed back at it, my throat raw, my voice cracking. But the laughter that followed was worse than the words. Not loud, not cruel, just soft, patient, amused. "That's it," it whispered. "Fight me. It makes it sweeter." I slammed my fists into my skull, desperate to drive the voice out, but it only cooed in delight, like a mother calming a tantrum. "You can't run from me, sweetheart. I'm under your skin now. The mirrors are all gone, shattered into jagged fragments, but sometimes I see my reflection anyway. In the darkened window, in the black pool of water in the sink, even in my own eyes, when I catch them in a reflective surface. And every time, it's smiling at me, smiling with teeth too sharp, too many, too wide. "Let me wear you," it says in my mind, echoing through every crack and crevice of my thoughts. "Let me be your face, your voice, your hands. I'll make you whole again." The worst part isn't the words, it's the way my reflection mouths them in perfect time. Last night, I heard footsteps in the hall, slow, deliberate, each step creaking the floorboards like a warning. They stopped outside my bedroom door, and then the handle began to turn, rattling softly. I didn't move. I couldn't. My body felt pinned to the floor as if gravity had doubled. The voice came again, so close I felt its vibrations in my bones. "Sweetheart, you've been so strong, but you don't have to fight anymore. Open the door. Let mommy make it all better." I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I bit my lip until blood ran down my chin, shaking violently as the handle stilled. Then came a knock, soft, almost polite. 1, 2, 3. This time, it didn't stop. It kept knocking. Louder, faster, The rhythm grew frantic, almost angry, each blow rattling the hinges until I thought the door would split. "Let me in," it roared, voice booming and layered with countless others, men, women, children, all screaming in unison. My hands flew to my ears, but the sound wasn't in the room anymore. It was inside my head, shaking loose every thought except raw terror. Then, as suddenly as it started, it stopped. Silence fell, so abrupt, it left a ringing in my ears. I stayed frozen until my knees gave out, collapsing onto the cold floorboards, too weak to even sob. I woke, or thought I did, to the sound of my own voice calling from the hallway. "Hey, are you awake?" It was my voice, perfectly pitched, perfectly calm. But I hadn't spoken. My lips were dry, cracked, sealed tight. The voice came again, closer this time. "It's okay. I'm you. I'm here to help." Something inside me buckled at the sound of those words in my tone. It wasn't just mimicking anymore. It was learning. Each syllable dripped with false familiarity, as if it had been wearing my skin for years. I curled tighter into myself on the floor, clutching the blanket around my shoulders like a shield. "Don't be afraid," my voice whispered through the crack under the door. "You don't need to fight me. We're the same now." That day, if I can still call it a day, I didn't move. I didn't eat. I barely breathed. I watched the door like a trapped animal, knowing it wouldn't matter if I ran. Wherever I go, it follows. I tried blocking out the sound with music, but the voice started singing along, using my mother's tone. The melody was one I hadn't heard since I was a boy, her bedtime lullaby, the one she hummed when I was sick. Only now the tune was warped, a discordant thing that sank into my skull and pulsed there like a second heartbeat. "Hush now, baby. Don't say a word." The voice slowed, stretching each note until they cracked and splintered like old wood. "Mommy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. At some point, minutes, hours, I don't know." I heard laughter behind me, not the booming guttural sound of before. This was quiet, intimate, bubbling up like water boiling under a sealed lid. I didn't want to turn, but I couldn't stop myself. My body disobeyed, and my head began to pivot toward the sound. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement. A pale shape crouched in the corner, long limbs folded wrong, as if its joints were placed by guesswork rather than design. Its face, if it had one, was hidden in the dark, but I could feel its smile. Wide, wet, endless. "You see me now," it murmured in my voice, but layered with dozens of others. "You finally see what you brought home." I bolted upright, heart hammering, and stumbled backward until my shoulders slammed the wall. The shape didn't move. It didn't need to. It just crouched there, its presence filling the room like smoke. Then it began to crawl forward, slow, deliberate, fingers splaying wide with each motion like a spider, testing its web. My breath hitched, my chest tightening with panic. "Don't be scared," it said, voice flickering between mine, my mother's, and something impossibly deep. "I only want what's mine." My hands found the nightstand, and I hurled it at the corner. But when it hit, there was nothing there. No shape, no sound, just my ragged breaths and the pounding of blood in my ears. Later, hours, seconds, I heard it again, this time from inside my head. "You're almost ready," it whispered. "So tired, so weak. Just let go, baby. Let me take care of you." I clamped my hands over my ears, digging my nails into my scalp until I felt wetness. But the voice didn't stop. It multiplied, echoing off the walls of my skull, overlapping itself in an endless chorus of hunger. Let us in, let us in. I screamed until my throat tore, but the sound didn't drown it out. If anything, it made the voices louder, as if they fed on my fear. When I opened my eyes, I was standing at the door again, fingers curled tight around the knob. I hadn't meant to move. My mind screamed, but my body didn't listen. I twisted the handle a fraction before wrenching my hand back and collapsing, sobbing into the floorboards. Good boy, the voice purred, so strong. But it won't matter. Soon you'll open it. You won't be able to stop yourself, and I'll be waiting. The doorknob began to rattle violently, harder than ever before. The wood groaned, hinges squealing as if straining to hold. Then it stopped. Silence fell like a shroud, thick and choking. I knew then it didn't need to force its way in. It never had. It was teaching me to open the door myself. Now when I speak aloud, even to myself, I hear it mimic me perfectly from behind the walls. Every cough, every sob, every whispered prayer comes back to me, seconds later, twisted slightly, like an echo wearing someone else's skin. Yesterday, I caught my reflection moving out of sync in the black glass of the TV screen. It didn't smile this time. It stared. Its mouth opened wider than mine ever could, jaw unhinging like a snake's. And in a voice that was mine but not mine, it whispered, "You're almost ready." I don't remember when I stopped hearing my own thoughts. Now every voice in my head sounds like it. When I try to think in silence, it fills the space with whispers, some sweet and coaxing, others sharp and mocking. "Why fight?" it asks in my mother's voice. "You're so tired. Let me take care of everything." Then it switches my voice now, but strained and hollow. "We're already the same. You just haven't admitted it yet." I pressed my hands to my ears, rocking violently in the corner of my room, but the voices pressed closer. They don't need air to speak anymore. They bloom in my skull like mold, growing stronger every time I listen. Last night, or maybe just a few minutes ago, I caught myself speaking out loud without meaning to. Words dripped from my mouth like venom. "I missed you too," I whispered, realizing too late they weren't my words. They were its words, using my tongue. I slammed my fists into the floor, desperate to stop whatever was happening to me. But then came the laughter, not outside, not inside my head, from my own throat. The sound was wrong, wet, guttural, layered with countless voices. My body convulsed as the sound poured out of me, my lips twisting into a grin I didn't recognize. My reflection in the cracked window smiled back, mouth stretching impossibly wide. "You see now," it hissed with my voice. "I don't need to break in. You're already letting me out. The house doesn't feel like my house anymore." The walls breathe softly at night, expanding and contracting as though the structure itself has lungs. The floorboards pulse faintly under my feet, warm in a way wood shouldn't be. Shadows pool in the corners like liquid, shifting when I'm not looking. I can hear faint scratching inside the walls constantly now, accompanied by muffled giggles that sound too much like mine as a child. Sometimes they rise to a deafening chorus, dozens of me's whispering in perfect unison. "Come home, come home, come home." My chest tightens every time I hear it, because deep down I know what they mean. They're not calling me to leave this house. They're calling me deeper into it. Yesterday, I found the door unlocked. I don't remember unlocking it. My dresser was still pressed against it, but the latch clicked when I touched it. Panic surged through me as I shoved the dresser back harder, as though that would help. But then I heard footsteps, soft, barefoot padding across the hall outside. They stopped directly in front of the door. "Baby?" my mother's voice called, thick with the ache of tears. "It's cold out here. Please let me in." I squeezed my eyes shut, tears streaming, whispering over and over, "It's not her, it's not her." But the voice changed, deeper now, guttural, full of hunger. "Oh, but it is. Don't you recognize me? You made me." The doorknob turned slowly, then stopped. The voice fell silent, but I could still feel it out there, waiting. Sometimes I think I've already opened the door, not physically, but somewhere deeper, inside myself. The lines between my thoughts and its whispers blur more each hour. I don't know which are mine anymore. I catch my hands moving without my permission, scratching strange symbols into the floorboards with my fingernails. My voice murmurs things I don't understand, low and steady, as if in prayer. Last night, I woke standing in front of the mirror, grinning at my reflection, as it whispered back, "You're wearing me beautifully." I don't remember walking there. I don't remember smiling. Soul. But I remember the cold thrill that ran through me when I saw my eyes. They weren't entirely mine anymore. Tonight I felt it breathe through me. Not on me, through me. My lungs filled with icy air that didn't belong, forcing me to inhale and exhale in slow, deliberate rhythm. My hands rose against my will, fingers twitching like marionette strings pulled by an unseen hand. The voice came again, not in my ears but in my chest, vibrating up my throat. "Soul." "Tired," it said, through my own lips. "So tired. Let me carry you." I fought it with every shred of strength I had left, screaming silently inside my head. "Soul." For a moment, the grip on my body loosened. My hands dropped. My lungs seized control. But the voice laughed softly, so strong, but strength fades. "I can wait." "Soul." Now I'm sitting on the floor, staring at the door. My knuckles are raw from digging into the wood, and I don't remember how I got here. The whispers are constant, overlapping like 100 mouths pressed against the walls. "We're so close now," they chant. "Just a little longer." I feel them under my skin, writhing like worms trying to push out. "Soul." My mouth twitches with words I don't want to say. "I missed you. I love you. I'll let you in." The thing in the walls sighs happily, like a mother, finally comforting her child. And I realize, with a surge of pure terror, that the knocking didn't stop because it left. It stopped because it doesn't need to knock anymore. It's already inside. I don't know how long I've been here anymore. Time doesn't feel real inside these walls. The clock stopped days ago, or maybe weeks, and my phone screen stays blank no matter how many times I tap it. It's as if the house exists outside time, floating in some endless void where nothing moves except the thing that whispers to me. The knocking stopped long ago, but its absence isn't a comfort. It's worse now, quieter, closer. It doesn't need to knock because it's already inside. I feel it in my chest, a faint thumping rhythm beneath my ribs. It doesn't match my heartbeat. It's slower, heavier. Each thump carries a whisper of my name, soft and cold, like breath against the back of my neck. I press my palms over my ears, but it doesn't help. The sound isn't coming from outside anymore. It's inside me. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up with dirt under my nails, and splinters lodged in my fingertips. There was a shallow hole scratched into the floorboards at the foot of my bed, jagged and raw. The smell rising from it was thick and earthy, like freshly turned soil, but sweeter somehow, cloying, almost metallic. I stumbled back, my knees giving out, as I realized I didn't remember digging, and yet my hands ached. The skin split and raw. From the hole came a sound, faint at first, then stronger. Knock, knock, then a whisper, soft and lilting like a lullaby. "You're so close now, just a little deeper." It was her voice again, my mother's, sweet, familiar, but stretched too thin, like a recording, warped by heat. The mirrors are all gone, shattered weeks ago in a frenzy of panic, but reflections still find me in puddles, in the black glass of the TV screen, even in my own eyes when I catch them too long in the darkness. They don't move right anymore. My reflection lingers half a second too long after I look away. Sometimes its mouth moves when mine doesn't, forming words I can't hear but somehow know. Last night, I caught it smiling at me. Not a friendly smile, but wide and hollow, full of teeth that didn't belong in a human mouth. Its voice slipped into my thoughts, echoing through the hollow spaces of my skull. "You're wearing me beautifully." I wanted to scream, but no sound came. My throat felt heavy, clogged as though something thick and living was coiled inside, waiting to speak through me. I tried leaving once. I don't know why I thought it would work. Maybe some part of me hoped the world outside was still there. I crept to the front door, fingers trembling as I reached for the latch. But when I cracked it open, there was no street, no sky, just an endless void swirling in shades of black and red. The air beyond was thick and pulsing, humming with a low, endless vibration that made my teeth ache. Something moved in that darkness, massive and slow, its shape too large to comprehend. It wasn't human. It wasn't even alive in any way I understood. And it didn't speak with words. It pressed its intent directly into my bones. "Stay," my legs buckled. I slammed the door shut and curled into myself on the floor, sobbing quietly as the humming subsided. The house felt smaller after that, the walls pressing inward like a fist closing around me. Sleep has become a trap. Every time I close my eyes, it slips in deeper. I woke once gasping for air with the taste of earth and rot in my mouth. My hands were raw from digging again, though I don't remember moving. The hole at the foot of the bed is deeper now, splinters jutting like teeth around its edge. From within, I hear soft breathing, slow, steady, waiting. "You found me," my mother's voice murmured from the dark below. "Now finish what you started. Dig deeper. Let me out." I stumbled back, shaking violently, but then another voice joined hers, lower, wetter, impossibly deep. "We're already here." My head throbbed as the voices overlapped, weaving together in perfect, poisonous harmony. The walls aren't walls anymore. They breathe now, slow and shallow, the plaster expanding and contracting like lungs. Sometimes I see pale fingers, long and thin like spider legs, curling out from cracks, dragging their nails along the floorboards before retreating again. Yesterday, I saw an eye, milky white, unblinking, staring at me from a hole near the ceiling. It didn't blink. It didn't need to. "Don't be afraid," my mother's voice cooed as the eye swiveled slightly. "You made me. You called me. I'm what you wanted." My stomach churned as I remembered the knocks from my childhood bedroom floor, my whispered plea, "Mommy, come back." I hadn't known what I was calling. I hadn't thought anything would answer. Tonight, I felt it move inside me, not on me, inside. My lungs filled with icy air that didn't belong, forcing me to inhale and exhale in slow, deliberate rhythm. My hands rose against my will, fingers curling into shapes I didn't recognize, tracing symbols into the air. My voice, no longer fully mine, slipped out in a low, alien hum. "I'm here," it said softly. "Finally, I'm here." My body turned toward the door, feet dragging across the floor. My hand reached out, fingers brushing the knob. From the other side came the faintest knock. 1, 2, 3. My lips curled into a smile I didn't feel, and in a voice that wasn't mine, I whispered, "Come in." I don't remember saying it, but the words still echo in my head. Come in. Maybe it was my voice. Maybe it wasn't. I felt my lips move, felt my throat vibrate, but I don't know if it was me speaking. Afterward, silence stretched across the room so thick it felt alive. No knock came, no door creaked open, just the sound of my own ragged breathing, and then softly, almost tenderly, a whisper that crawled beneath my skin. "Good boy," it said. "You've already opened enough." My body stiffened, my fingers twitched. A sensation like ice water trickled down my spine, and for the first time, I realized with sinking dread that I wasn't alone inside my own head anymore. The house feels smaller now, or maybe I've grown too large for it. When I walk, the ceilings seem to bow. The walls pulse faintly like veins beneath translucent skin. I hear movement behind them constantly, scratching, dragging, even breathing. Sometimes it's slow and steady, other times it's frantic, like fingernails clawing for escape. At night, faint voices seep through the plaster, layered like a choir humming a lullaby. "Hush now," they murmur in my mother's tone, though the sound is warped, too thick, too sweet. "Don't cry, baby. It's almost time." My chest tightens every time I hear it, because I want to believe it's her, even though I know it isn't. I want so badly for it to be her. This morning, or maybe last night, I found myself kneeling beside the hole in the floor again. It's deeper now, wide enough for my whole arm. I don't remember digging, but the splinters in my palms tell me I did. A faint glow rises from the dark below, pulsing like a heartbeat, and with each pulse, I hear it breathing. "You're so close now," it whispers. "Almost home." I forced myself away, crawling backward until I hit the wall, but my body felt sluggish, heavy, like every movement required more strength than I had left. In the corner of my eye, I swear I saw long, thin fingers reaching up from the hole before slipping back into the shadows. The mirrors are gone, but my reflection still hunts me. It watches from puddles of water, from the black glass of the TV, even from the glossy surface of my own eyes. Sometimes it moves when I don't. Sometimes it smiles without permission. Yesterday, I caught my reflection whispering. Its mouth moved in slow, deliberate shapes, as it formed words I couldn't hear, but I understood. "You're ready. Let me wear you." My stomach churned. I smashed the TV screen, but even in the jagged shards, my reflection lingered, grinning faintly as blood from my knuckles smeared its surface. "We'll share," it hissed softly. "One skin, one voice, one face. Sleep offers no escape." I close my eyes, and I'm back in the hole, digging, dirt caked under my nails, my arms moving of their own accord. I feel the earth breathing around me, warm and damp, as if alive. The deeper I dig, the louder the voices become, 1,000 whispers bleeding into one. "You called us. You wanted us. You belong to us. I wake up gasping, my sheets soaked with sweat, the taste of soil still thick on my tongue. My fingernails are chipped to the quick again, and there's more dirt on the floor. The hole gapes wider, darker, as if waiting to swallow me whole. It speaks through me now. Sometimes I catch myself humming her lullaby in the kitchen, but the sound doesn't come from my throat. It comes from somewhere deeper. Last night, my hands moved without my permission, tracing spirals on the walls, symbols I don't recognize. They glow faintly in the dark, pulsing like veins. It's beautiful, my voice whispered, though I hadn't meant to speak. You're making me beautiful. Panic surged as I pressed my hands over my mouth, but the voice laughed from within. Why hide? It crooned. We're already one, baby. You're wearing me so well. Tonight I stood before the door again. My hand reached out, brushing the cold brass knob. The wood pulsed beneath my palm like a living thing, warm and wet. From the other side came a faint knock. 1, 2, 3. My lips curved into a smile I didn't feel, and my voice, soft, loving, almost maternal, slid from my throat without permission. Come home. Now remember walking to the mirror, but I'm standing there again, staring at a reflection that no longer feels like mine. Its skin looks too thin, stretched tight over bones that jutted too sharply at the edges. The eyes blink out of sync, one sluggish and dull, the other alert, shining with a faint, milky light. I force myself to step back, but the reflection doesn't follow. It leans closer, its lips parting in a slow grin that splits the skin at the corners. You're doing so well, it whispers in my voice, though there's a wet, alien undertone beneath it now. Don't stop. You're almost whole. My stomach churns as I watch a dark, viscous fluid bead along the reflection's teeth before it drips into the sink below. I try to fight it, clawing at my face, slamming my fists into the walls, but it's like swimming against a current. Every scream that rips from my throat comes back doubled, my own voice echoing from unseen corners. Why do you resist? It asks gently, the cadence identical to my mother's bedtime murmur. You called me here. You wanted this. You wanted me. I press my palms so hard to my ears, I feel blood, but the words only grow louder, pounding in my skull like a second heartbeat. I'll make it stop hurting. Just let go. Let me hold you. The hole in the floor is larger now. I don't remember digging, but dirt streaks my arms up to the elbows, and my nails are black with soil. The air around it is humid, and smells of iron and mildew. Sometimes I hear faint sobbing rising from its depths, sometimes laughter, sometimes the wet scrape of something large dragging itself closer. Yesterday or hours ago, I can't tell. I thought I saw a hand reach up. Long fingers tipped with splintered nails curled around the edge of the hole, knuckles bending backward as it began to pull. I stumbled back, but my feet wouldn't carry me far. My body froze as a faint voice floated up, coaxing, seductive, impossible to ignore. Baby, help me out. I've been waiting so long. I don't sleep anymore, but dreams find me anyway. When I close my eyes, I'm standing in the hole, waist deep in black mud, my arms moving on their own as I scoop handful after handful of wet earth aside. The deeper I go, the warmer it gets. Something writhes beneath the mud, pressing against my legs like the coils of an enormous snake. And always that voice. Hush now, baby. Don't cry. Mommy's here. Mommy will fix it all. When I wake, my mouth tastes of earth and copper. and my sheets are streaked with dirt. I tell myself I haven't moved, but I know it's a lie. The walls are changing. Veins run under the wallpaper now, dark and faintly pulsing. When I press my ear to them, I hear faint whispers, too many voices to count. They don't speak in any language I know, but I understand them anyway. They're calling me home, calling me deeper, calling me to let go of the last sliver of resistance I still cling to. Sometimes the walls sigh, expelling a warm, damp breath that smells like rot, and sometimes I swear they laugh. Not loud, not cruel, just soft, patient, like a mother humoring her child. This afternoon, or was it dawn? I felt it use my mouth again. My lips moved without my will, forming words that tasted bitter as they spilled out. You've done enough, sweetheart. Rest now. I'll take care of you. My body went still, and for a moment, I wasn't sure who was in control. My hands lifted to my face, fingers tracing the bones beneath the skin, as though checking the fit of a new suit. In the reflection of the window, I watched my own lips curl into a grin. I didn't feel. You wear me so well, it said through my voice. Now I sit on the floor by the door, my back pressed to the wood. From the other side comes a faint, steady sound. Knock, knock, knock. It doesn't hurry. It doesn't need to. Each knock vibrates through the boards and into my spine, sinking with the alien heartbeat in my chest. My fingers twitch against the floor. I feel the urge to rise, to open the door and step aside, but I don't. I can't. Not yet. Still, my voice slips out in a soft, reverent whisper I don't recognize. The house is smaller now, or maybe I'm larger. Every step feels heavier. My limbs stiff, as though the air itself has thickened around me, pressing in like molasses. I can't tell if it's the house that's alive, or if it's just me, swelling with something alien. The walls aren't walls anymore. They're skin. Veins crisscross beneath the faded paper like dark rivers, pulsing faintly in time with the thing that now throbs inside my chest. I pressed my ear against the plaster earlier, desperate for a sound from the outside world, but there was nothing. No wind, no birds, just a faint wet squelching, and the occasional drag of something vast shifting behind the walls. I stayed there too long. I don't know how long. Minutes, hours. The whispers seeped through, curling into my ears like smoke. Almost there, they sang. Almost whole, almost ready. I wanted to scream, but my lips wouldn't part. My jaw locked as if someone else was holding it shut from within. My tongue twitched. My teeth ground together until my gums bled. My own voice hummed low, like a lullaby. The sound was mine, yet it wasn't. The hole in the floor gapes now, its edges wet and glistening like raw flesh. I don't remember widening it, but my fingers ache and my nails are torn to bloody crescents. Dirt lines the creases of my hands. The smell rising from the blackness below has changed. It's sweeter now, cloying like spoiled fruit, tinged with the metallic bite of blood. I sit near it for hours, days maybe, watching as faint shapes move in the shadows, slow and deliberate, like something pacing just out of sight. Every so often, pale fingers with joints that bend the wrong way curl over the lip, caressing the wood as if testing the strength of my work. I don't move. I don't breathe. I just stare because I can't do anything else. My body won't obey me anymore. The thing inside hums approval, vibrating in my rib cage until I feel it in my teeth. Good boy, my mother's voice coos from the dark. You've dug so deep. You've made it so easy for me. I used to dream of her when I was small. I'd wake screaming, heart pounding, tears soaking my pillow as her face lingered in the dark corners of my room. Not her real face, but the way my young mind twisted it in grief. Now I see her again, but it's worse. The dreams have grown longer, more vivid. She crouches in the hole, mud clinging to her pale skin like a second layer. Her hair hangs in clumps, wet and matted, but her eyes are bright, too bright. They glow faintly with a milky pearlescent sheen as she reaches for me with fingers stretched impossibly long. Baby, she croons, it's been so lonely without you. Let mommy in. Let mommy wear your skin. Her voice cracks like splitting wood at the last word, and I wake gagging on the taste of earth and copper. My fingernails are gone, the sheets are caked with dirt, and the hole is deeper still. The walls have started breathing in earnest now. Every surface seems to inhale and exhale, rising and falling in shallow, wet gasps. A low moan reverberates through the house at night, shaking dust from the ceiling as pale cracks spiderweb across the plaster. Veins bulge larger, black fluid pulsing within them like thick oil. I swear I see eyes now, some tiny, some as large as dinner plates, watching from beneath the surface. They don't blink, they don't need to. Sometimes they cry milky tears that run in thin rivulets down the walls, pooling on the floor. The sound of their weeping isn't loud, it's soft, patient, like they know I can't hold out much longer, like they know I'll give in. I feel it moving in me more every day. My hands twitch without my command, tracing spirals in the dust, my fingers bending into sigils I don't recognize, but feel carved into my bones. My voice slips out in whispers not my own, soft and maternal, almost there, almost ready. Sometimes I catch my reflection in the black glass of the blank TV screen, its smile too wide, its teeth too many, whispering in perfect harmony with the thing crawling beneath my skin. You wear me so well, I try not to listen. I try to clamp my hands over my ears and shut my eyes. But even then, I hear it humming from inside my skull, feel it vibrating in my bones. It's not waiting at the door anymore. It doesn't have to. The knocking returned tonight, but not from outside. It came from my chest. 3 slow, deliberate thuds, each one rattling my ribs and echoing up my spine. I staggered to my knees, clutching at myself as if I could rip it out. But the harder I pressed, the louder it became, until my vision blurred and my ears filled with the sound of 1,000 voices humming as one. We're here, they sang. You've been such a good boy. Now open up, open from the inside. My mouth smiled against my will. My hands pressed to my chest as a sharp, tearing pain blossomed under my sternum. I felt something shift, like fingers sliding under my ribs, pushing outward. I don't know how long I lay on the floor before my body rose. My legs moved like a puppet's, stiff and jerky, dragging me across the room toward the door. My hand reached for the knob, trembling slightly as if savoring the moment. The wood beneath my palm felt warm, almost feverish, pulsing faintly in time with the second heartbeat in my chest. From the other side came a faint sound, no longer a knock, but a soft, wet sigh. I didn't want to speak, but my lips parted anyway. My voice slid out, layered and rich, hers and mine and others too many to count. I'm ready, we said together. Come in. I woke up to find my hands clasped around the doorknob, knuckles white, fingers trembling as though they'd been gripping it for hours. I didn't remember walking there. I didn't remember rising from the floor at all. The wood beneath my palm pulsed faintly, warm and damp like living flesh. A low sound vibrated through it, a wet, rhythmic thumping in perfect time with the second heartbeat in my chest. 3 slow pulses. Pause. 3 more. I pulled my hand away with a sharp gasp, but the door sighed softly, almost in disappointment, as if it had been waiting for far too long. "You're so close now," the voice whispered. Not from behind the door, but from within my own throat. I staggered back, slamming into the opposite wall, nails biting into my arms as I forced my mouth shut. But even clamping my teeth together couldn't silence it. The words pressed out from my chest, vibrating up through my ribs until they rattled like a cage. "So close. Let me in." The house has stopped pretending to be a house. The walls flex softly with each breath. The wallpaper stretched tight as veins bulge beneath it, pulsing thick and black. The floorboards feel warm under my feet, humming faintly like distant machinery. Except this isn't mechanical, it's organic, alive, watching. Sometimes I feel it shift beneath me, a massive weight rolling lazily in the dark beneath the floor, sending ripples through the boards like waves in shallow water. At night, I hear faint scratching, not rats, not insects. This is something larger, claws dragging across the underside of the floorboards. Sometimes it laughs, low and wet, the sound bubbling up like a voice speaking through mud. I tried to block my ears, but the laughter seeped straight into my skull, bypassing flesh and bone, as if the house itself was whispering directly into my mind. "You've been so patient, my sweet boy," it cooed. "Mommy's proud of you." The house doesn't breathe anymore. It trembles. A low, constant vibration pulses through the walls, the floor, the air itself, until my teeth chatter and my bones hum faintly under my skin. I thought it was the house at first, but now I know better. It's coming from me. There's something moving beneath my ribs, coiled tight, like a sleeping animal ready to wake. Each time it shifts, a sharp pressure radiates outwards, pushing at the delicate cage of my chest until my sternum creaks. I clutch at myself, trying to hold it in, but the whispers grow louder with every passing second. They're no longer muffled by walls or doors. They're right behind my eyes, curling tight around my thoughts, like vines strangling a crumbling house. "Baby," they murmur in perfect unison, my mother's voice leading the chorus. "Why fight? You're already wearing us." I can't tell where my body ends and the house begins anymore. When I press my hand to the floor, I feel a faint pulse, sluggish but steady, matching the alien thrum under my own skin. My fingers drag unconsciously across the boards, tracing symbols that glow faintly in the dim light, pulsing in perfect time with my heartbeat. No, with its heartbeat. I tried washing the markings away, but the more I scrubbed, the deeper they sank, etching into the wood like scars. They're everywhere now, on the walls, the ceiling, even in my own reflection, faintly visible in the whites of my eyes when I dare to look. "You've always been ours," my reflection whispers, lips curling into a grin that isn't mine. "You just forgot for a little while." The hole in the floor, God, it isn't a hole anymore. It's open wider now, the edges slick and soft like the inside of a mouth. Warm air rises from it, carrying the scent of rot and damp earth. In the faint glow from below, I see shapes moving, writhing, pressing against each other like bodies packed too tightly in a grave. Sometimes I think I see faces, some familiar, some not, all staring upward with vacant, milky eyes. They whisper in unison now, their voices layered so thick, I can't pick one from another. We're waiting, we've always waited. It's your turn to come down. My legs twitch, eager to obey. My hands flex, nails digging shallow furrows into my palms. I don't remember kneeling by the edge, but I'm there again, leaning closer, my breath fogging in the warm, damp air rising from the depths. I tried leaving once, maybe yesterday, maybe a week ago. The front door opened easily enough, its wood warm and pliant under my palm like living skin. But beyond it, there was nothing, just endless pulsing blackness that seemed to breathe in tandem with the thing inside me. I stepped forward and felt the darkness push back, dense and warm like blood. No sound, no air, just the faint whisper of my own voice from all directions at once. Where would you go? We are everywhere. Panic clawed at me as I stumbled backward, but the door was gone, replaced by a wall slick with moisture, faintly bulging like something was pressing against it from the other side. I pounded my fists until my knuckles split, but all that answered was a soft laugh. You don't leave, it whispered. You dissolve. I think I'm dissolving already. My memories feel thin, brittle, like old film left too long in the sun. I can't remember what my mother's face really looked like, only the version that crawls from the hole to whisper lullabies in my ear. Hush now, baby, she sings, her voice cracking as her jaws stretch too wide, her teeth slick and long like broken glass. You were made for this. When I close my eyes, I see her climbing from the depths, her limbs bending the wrong way, her flesh pale and wet, like something half-formed. Her hands, God, those hands reach for my face, stroking my cheeks with fingers that leave smears of soil and blood. And I let her. I don't remember why I should resist anymore. Tonight, I felt it wear me completely for the first time. My arms moved without my will, tracing more symbols across the walls as my lips parted, and a low melodic hum filled the air. It was deeper, layered with countless others singing in perfect harmony. I could feel them inside me, shifting, stretching, settling into place like slipping on a glove. My skin crawled as if thousands of tiny mouths pressed against it from the inside, whispering all at once, "You fit so perfectly. You were always ours." My reflection stared back at me, its grin impossibly wide, its eyes glassy and wet. So soft, it whispered, so ready, so perfect. And now, I sit again with my back to the door, my chest rising and falling in time with the slow thud, thud, thud vibrating from the other side. It's not knocking anymore. It doesn't have to. I can feel it inside me, pressing outward, waiting for the last barrier to crumble. My hand twitches, fingers curling around the doorknob without my command. I feel my lips part in a smile as my voice, layered and alien, slides out like silk. Come in. The walls don't whisper anymore. They sing. A low, rolling hum vibrates through the house, setting my teeth on edge and filling my skull with a dull, throbbing ache. The melody is familiar. It's the lullaby my mother used to sing when I was small. But it's wrong now, warped and layered with other voices that clash and merge until it sounds like 100 throats singing all at once. Hush now, baby. They croon in unison, and I feel my chest tighten, my lungs struggling against something pressing upward from within. I clutch at my ribs as if I can hold it back, but my fingers only sink slightly into soft, yielding skin. I pull my hands away and see faint impressions where they pressed, like fingerprints left in clay. The air is heavier now, thick and humid, like a greenhouse overrun with rot. Every breath tastes of mildew and copper, and it sticks in my throat until I gag. I stagger toward the mirror, needing to see my face, needing proof that I'm still me. But what stares back isn't familiar. My skin is pale, almost translucent, threaded with faint black veins that pulse faintly in the dim light. My eyes are wrong too, one dull and sunken, the other too bright, milky and glassy like a cataract. As I lean closer, my reflection smiles, a slow, deliberate curl of lips that I don't feel on my own face. You wear me so well, it whispers in my voice layered with others, male, female, childlike, ancient, almost perfect, almost whole. The floor beneath my feet feels alive now. Each step sends a ripple through the boards, the wood soft and damp like walking on muscle. I feel it pulse faintly, a slow, steady rhythm that syncs with the second heartbeat in my chest. Sometimes the boards part slightly, revealing glimpses of something pale and writhing beneath, flesh pressed tight against the thin layer of wood, fingers or tendrils or ribs, shifting in time with my movements. When I try to pull away, my feet stick for a moment, strands of some viscous fluid stretching between my soles and the floorboards before snapping wetly. The house doesn't want me to leave. Not that I could anymore. I know now that there is no outside. There's only this place, and the thing I invited into it. I remember knocking. I didn't want to. I was a child. I didn't understand. But I remember now, small fists pounding 3 times on the floor, whispering, "Mommy, please come back," into the cracks between the boards. I thought I was praying. I thought I was crying out for help. I didn't know I was calling something else, something older and hungrier than grief. "We heard you," the voices murmur now, echoing from every corner of the house, from within my own ribs. We answered. "We've been waiting so long to come home." My stomach churns violently, but I can't tell if it's fear or the thing inside me shifting, settling deeper into place. The hole has grown massive, a yawning throat in the center of the room. It breathes in slow, shuddering gasps, exhaling warm, fetid air that carries faint whispers. Shapes writhe far below, indistinct and alien, too many limbs, too many eyes, all twisting together in a slow dance. I find myself standing at the edge again, staring down as my toes curl over the lip. The warmth rising from the depths seeps into my skin, up my legs, settling in my stomach like a second core of heat. "Jump," the voices coax gently. "We'll catch you, we'll make it quick. It won't hurt, not for long." My knees tremble, and my hands twitch at my sides, itching to reach out and surrender. Last night, or maybe this morning, I felt it speak through me. My mouth opened without my will, and my voice spilled out low and melodic, alien syllables twisting my tongue as the air around me thickened. "I am ready," I said in a voice that wasn't mine alone, layered with 100 others. "This vessel is soft. The mind is pliable. The skin is stretched to fit." My body shivered violently, but my lips curved into a smile. My hands pressed flat against my chest as something beneath the skin pushed outward, fingers or ribs, pressing up like they were testing their new cage. "You'll never even notice," it whispered from inside me, gentle and cruel. "You'll dissolve so beautifully." And now I sit again with my back against the door, my hands limp in my lap, nails cracked and blackened from clawing at the walls. The knocking is inside me now. 3 slow, deliberate thuds vibrate through my ribcage, deep and wet, syncing perfectly with the second heartbeat. From beyond the door, or maybe from within, I hear a soft sigh, warm breath sliding through the cracks. "Baby," My mother's voice whispers, so close I feel her lips against my ear. Open up, let Mummy in. My hand moves without my permission, fingers curling around the knob as my voice slips free. Reverent and alien, come in. The knocking has stopped. For the first time since I can remember, the house is silent. No thudding fists against the walls, no patient three-beat rhythms waiting to be answered. But the silence isn't comforting. It's suffocating. It presses against me like a lead weight, filling every corner of my lungs until my breaths come shallow and quick. I can still feel the pulse beneath my skin, the faint, alien heartbeat thumping deep in my chest, stronger now than my own. It spreads warmth through my veins, thick and cloying like syrup, until every movement feels sluggish, dreamlike. Somewhere in the distance, or maybe inside my skull, a chorus hums softly. Hush, baby, it murmurs. The waiting is over. The walls no longer try to hide what they are. Strips of wallpaper hang in tatters, revealing the flesh beneath, pale and wet, threaded with thick black veins that twitch faintly as I watch. Eyes have bloomed across the surface, too many to count, blinking lazily as they follow my movements. They're not menacing, they're expectant, patient. Each lidless gaze seems to whisper without sound. We're here now, you're ours. When I touch the walls, they quiver beneath my fingers like the belly of a sleeping beast, warm and yielding. My hand comes away slick with something dark and viscous that smells faintly of earth and iron. I don't flinch anymore. I don't wipe it away. I think part of me has started to enjoy it. I don't recognize my own body. My skin has grown translucent, stretched too tight over bones that seem sharper, too angular, as if my frame is changing beneath the surface. Dark veins web across my limbs, pulsing faintly in time with the second heartbeat. My reflection leers back at me from the blank black TV screen. Its grin too wide, its teeth too sharp, its eyes gleaming like wet glass. You're beautiful now. It whispers in a voice layered with dozens of others, male, female, childlike, inhuman. So soft, so ready, so easy to wear. I want to scream, but my jaw locks in place. Instead, a small, contented sigh escapes my lips as my reflection raises its hand in perfect synchrony with mine. Almost perfect, it purrs. Almost whole, the whole. No, the mouth, in the floor, yawns wide. Now, its edges lined with something that glistens wetly in the dim light. It exhales in slow, fetid gusts that smell of rot and damp soil, carrying with it faint whispers of voices I almost recognize. Shapes shift below the surface, twisting, writhing forms pressing up against each other in a restless tangle of limbs and eyes. Some are human-sized, others impossibly massive, their movements slow and deliberate like creatures stirring after a long sleep. Every so often, a hand, pale, skeletal, fingers impossibly long, emerges from the depths, caressing the edge of the opening, as though testing the air. It's so warm up here, my mother's voice coos softly from below. Let me in, let me finish what you started. I don't fight anymore. I don't remember how. My body moves of its own accord, fingers tracing strange, curling symbols into the air that glow faintly as they hang suspended. My lips part, and a slow chant spills forth, syllables heavy and guttural, vibrating deep in my throat. The sound doesn't come from me alone. It echoes from the walls, the floor, the ceiling, until the entire house is humming in unison. The air grows thick and heavy, each breath like swallowing warm honey, clinging to my lungs. My vision blurs at the edges, my focus narrowing to the door before me. The doorknob pulses faintly, glowing with the same sickly light as the marks I've scrawled across every surface. A wet sigh drifts through the cracks, close enough to feel against my cheek. "You've been so patient," it whispers. "Time to open up, time to come home." And then I hear her, my mother's voice, soft and low, curling in my ears like the sweetest lullaby. "Baby," she whispers, "I've missed you so much. Let mommy hold you again." My chest tightens as a wave of grief crashes over me, old and raw, tearing through the fog that has smothered my mind for so long. For a heartbeat, one single fleeting moment, I remember what it felt like to be held, to be safe. My trembling hand rises, fingers curling slowly around the doorknob, slick with the dark, viscous fluid that coats the house. I know I should resist. I know opening the door means losing everything that was ever me, but the part of me that remembers is so small now, drowned beneath layers of whispers and warmth. "Come in," my voice says, not in fear but in reverence. "Please come in." The door doesn't open with a creak or a slam. It breathes. A warm rush of air spills into the room, thick with the scent of soil and decay, carrying with it a sound that isn't a voice yet fills my mind completely. "We're here," it says, hers and mine, and countless others blended into one. We're home. And as something vast and wet presses through the widening gap, I feel the last shreds of my will dissolve. I don't fight. I don't cry. I smile wide and content as 1,000 hands press against my skin from the inside, settling into place. I don't remember the sound the door made when it opened, but I can still feel it. A rush of warm, fetid air sliding over my skin like a caress, seeping into my pores, filling my lungs until I thought I would choke. The pressure was almost gentle, like hands smoothing out wrinkles in a sheet, kneading me into shape. My body shuddered under it. Not in fear, not anymore, but in anticipation. There, her voice whispered from all around me. So soft, so easy. "You've been waiting so long." I tried to scream, but my throat only hummed softly as my lips curved upward in a smile I didn't feel. My feet moved on their own, carrying me across the floor toward the hole. No, the mouth, yawning wide in the center of the room. Warm air puffed upward in slow, wet breaths, carrying the sweet, cloying scent of decay. "Come down," she crooned, her voice now layered with countless others, childlike, guttural, ancient. "Come home." The walls pulse faintly now, in perfect sync with the second heartbeat in my chest. The black veins threading through the flesh beneath the peeling wallpaper throb lazily, each pulse sending a ripple of warmth through the house. Eyes have opened everywhere, too many to count, lazily blinking, their glassy surfaces weeping milky tears that streak the walls like veins of mold. I don't flinch when their gaze follows me. I don't even feel watched anymore. It's not them looking at me. It's us, staring out together. My reflection confirms it. In the black screen of the television, I see my face, pale, stretched too tight over sharp angles, lips split in a grin too wide, eyes glistening and wet as though something behind them is pressing forward. When I raise my hand, the reflection lags a moment too long before copying the movement. So close, it whispers, lips curling further. "Almost whole, almost you." The mouth exhales again, a shuddering sigh that fogs the air with moisture. Shapes writhe below, limbs too long, faces twisted in ecstasy or agony. I can't tell anymore. Sometimes one climbs halfway out, pale fingers curling over the edge before melting back into the churning mass. They're all waiting, and I understand now why. I'm the last piece. The vessel. The door wasn't opened to let something in. It was open to let me out. My fingers twitch, tracing familiar spirals in the dust as my feet shuffle closer. Each step sends a faint tremor through the boards, as though the house, our body, savors the anticipation. You're perfect, my mother whispers from somewhere behind my eyes. You'll never even know where we end. And you begin. I tried once, I think, to resist, tried to claw at my chest, to dig out whatever writhes beneath my ribs. But my nails are gone now, torn to cracked crescents, and the skin of my chest yields like softened wax under my touch. Something stirs inside, pressing upward against the thin barrier, and for a moment, I swear I see a handprint bloom under the surface, slender fingers stretching the skin from within before withdrawing. I can feel it smiling, feel its joy bubbling up inside me like warm tar. So soft, it hums, so ready, so easy to wear. My mouth moves without me, whispering back. Yes, the air tastes of earth now, damp soil, rotting roots, and the faint metallic tang of blood. It clings to my tongue and fills my lungs until I can't remember what clean air felt like. The house hums louder as I drop to my knees before the mouth, my palms sinking slightly into the slick, yielding boards. Below, something massive stirs, sending a ripple of heat upward that makes my skin prickle. I'm ready, my voice says, though I can't feel my lips move. I'm ready to dissolve. A chorus of sighs rises from the depths, dozens of hands reaching up, stretching for me, eager to pull me down. But then, silence, total and complete. The voices stop. The house stops pulsing. Even the second heartbeat stills for a breathless moment. My own heart hammers wildly, the sound deafening in the quiet. And then I hear it. One word, my name, whispered in my mother's voice, so soft and tender it makes my knees buckle. Baby. It comes from everywhere and nowhere, curling around me like smoke. Come home. And I feel it, not just the words, but her hand warm and damp, pressing against my cheek from the inside. The last shred of me tries to fight, tries to scream, but the sound never leaves my throat. Instead, my lips part and whisper back, "Yes, Mummy." The silence doesn't last long. It never does. Beneath my ribs, the second heartbeat returns with a slow, deliberate thump that shakes my whole body. It's stronger now, louder. I feel it in my teeth, my skull, in the marrow of my bones, as if every part of me has become a drum for it to play. "Good boy," the voices whisper, so close it feels like lips brushing my eardrum. "You've made us a beautiful home." My skin prickles as something shifts inside, pressing outward in soft, exploratory pulses. Fingers, ribs. I don't know anymore. I don't want to know. But I feel them test the boundaries of my body, curling beneath my skin, like roots seeking purchase in fresh soil. I stumble away from the mouth in the floor, gasping as though I've just surfaced from deep water. The walls quiver faintly with my movement, pale eyes blinking in slow unison, their milky surfaces glistening in the dim light. They're watching me, not with malice, but with patient hunger, like a parent admiring their newborn child. When I brush against the wallpaper, it tears wetly beneath my fingers, revealing slick muscle beneath. Veins bulge there, dark and thick, pumping in perfect rhythm with the second heartbeat. I press my palm against it and feel something press back from the other side. So soft, my reflection purrs from the black TV screen. So ready, You wear us so well. I run my fingers over my own face, tracing the contours of a stranger. My skin stretches too tightly over angles that feel wrong, bones shifting subtly beneath my touch, as if adjusting to a new shape. My eyes catch in the faint glow of the room, one sunken, dull and grey, the other luminous, wet with an alien sheen. When I blink, the movement is delayed, as if I'm watching a reflection of someone else pretending to be me. My grin splits wide, unbidden, and I feel my cheeks crack slightly at the edges. It doesn't hurt. Nothing does anymore. Almost whole, the voice says, my mother's voice, layered now with countless others that weave in and out like threads in a tapestry. You won't even notice when you're gone. The house exhales again, a wet, rattling sigh that fills the air with warmth. The taste of earth and rot clings to my tongue, thick and metallic. Shapes press against the walls now, faint impressions of hands and faces stretching the slick surface as if they're trying to push through. Fingers drag down the length of the wallpaper, leaving trails of black ichor that weep onto the floorboards. From below, the chorus begins again, low and melodic, humming in a language that feels etched into my bones. It's time, they sing. You were always meant to be ours. My chest vibrates with their words until I feel my ribs flex outward like a birdcage under strain. I drop to my knees as something inside me surges upward, a slow, invasive tide that fills every hollow of my body. My lips part, and a strange, guttural sound spills out, alien syllables twisting my tongue in ways it shouldn't move. I feel my hands rise, fingers tracing symbols in the air that hang suspended for a moment before sinking into the walls around me. The house shudders in delight. Eyes roll back in ecstasy. The floor ripples beneath me like a living thing, sending up tendrils that curl gently around my legs, holding me in place. Shh, baby. My mother croons from inside my head. Let us, in all the way. Let us finish it. For the first time, I feel my heart skip. Not the alien one, but mine, the original one buried deep beneath layers of foreign warmth. Panic flares briefly, sharp and electric, as I claw at my chest, desperate to rip it out. But my fingers refuse to obey, curling instead into the soft skin, as though savoring the feel. There's no use anymore. My voice whispers, thick with something else wearing it. Just us, just home. The reflection in the TV laughs soundlessly, its grin tearing impossibly wide, as a second face blooms faintly beneath mine. Hers, my mother's pale, wet features pressing forward, eyes rolling wildly as she whispers through my smile, "We'll wear you so gently." And then I hear the knocking again, not from the door, not from the walls, but from deep inside my skull. 3 slow, deliberate thuds that rattle my teeth and vibrate through my jaw. Pause. 3 more. The sound echoes through the hollow spaces of my mind until I can't tell if it's coming from within or without. My lips part without my will, the words slipping free in a reverent murmur. Come in. I don't remember falling asleep, but I must have. I woke, or thought I did, to find myself standing in the center of the room, staring down into the gaping mouth in the floor. Warm air gusted up from below, carrying the now familiar scent of rot and damp earth, clinging to my skin like a film. My hands were folded neatly in front of me, fingers twitching slightly, as though testing their own strength. I tried to move them, to curl them into fists, but nothing happened. I wasn't in control. I wasn't even inside anymore. I was somewhere behind my own eyes, watching as the thing wearing my skin stretched my mouth into a slow, satisfied smile. "So perfect," it murmured in my voice, though the tone was wrong, too thick, too wet, too full of hunger. The walls have stopped pretending. Strips of flesh hang loose now, peeling away to reveal a network of pulsing veins and slick muscle that stretches and contracts with every breath the house takes. Eyes bloom in clusters across the surface, their glassy stares unblinking as they watch us. Not me, us. I feel their approval radiating through the walls, a warm parental pride that makes my stomach twist. I want to scream, but my throat only hums softly, vibrating with a melody I don't recognize. When I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the shattered glass on the floor, I see why. My face is no longer fully mine. My mother's features shift faintly beneath my skin, her wide, wet eyes staring out from behind mine, her grin stretching too far as her voice whispers through my teeth. "You've worn me so well, baby." The house vibrates faintly beneath my bare feet, each tremor syncing perfectly with the second heartbeat in my chest. The rhythm is so steady now it's hypnotic, lulling the faint flicker of me further back into the darkness. My skin feels too tight, stretched over something much larger than myself that writhes faintly beneath the surface. Occasionally a ripple passes through my limbs as though hundreds of tiny hands press outward from beneath, testing the boundaries of their new home. We fit so perfectly, the voices coo from all around, their tones overlapping until they blur into a single inhuman chorus. "You were always meant for this." From the mouth in the floor, a pale arm emerges, too long, the elbow bending the wrong way as fingers tipped with black, broken nails curl over the edge. Another arm follows, then a face half-formed, its features shifting and melting like wax under a too-hot flame. It blinks at me, or at the thing wearing me, with eyes that are pale and milky, mouth opening in a slow sigh. Almost ready, it croons, voice cracking as more heads rise from the depths, their mouths joining the refrain. So soft, so pliable, so close. The thing inside me responds with a deep, guttural hum, my lips curling further into a grin so wide it splits the corners of my mouth. I feel my feet moving, carrying me closer to the edge. My toes curl over the lip, and I feel a warm, damp breeze wash up my legs like a sigh of longing. Hands reach for me from below, pale fingers brushing my calves, leaving streaks of black ichor on my skin. "Come down," they plead gently. "We'll wear you so carefully, you won't even notice." The thing in control of my body tilts my head back and sighs in bliss as its fingers trace along my own throat, feeling the vibration of words that are no longer mine. "Yes," my voice says, "take all of me." The whispers are louder now, so loud they drown out my thoughts. They tell me things in their layered chorus, memories that aren't mine, names I don't recognize, visions of dark, wet places where countless voices sing in unison. I see myself in those visions, but I'm not me anymore. I'm only a shape, a container stretched too thin to hold what's pushing to the surface. My mother's face blooms fully in my reflection now, her wet hair clinging to her cheeks as she strokes the glass from the other side. "Baby," she whispers, her voice layered and heavy. "It's time. Let Mummy wear you all the way." And I feel my lips part, my voice soft and reverent. I'm ready. The knocking returns not from outside, not from the door, but deep in my skull. 3 deliberate thuds that rattle my teeth and vibrate through my jaw. Pause. 3 more. Each strike resonates deeper, knocking not for entry, but for release. My skin tingles as the second heartbeat surges stronger.
shaking the floor beneath my feet. The mouth in the floor yawns wider, eager to swallow, and as I feel the last threads of me dissolve, my voice slips out in a low, worshipful murmur. Come in.
I can't tell where I end anymore. My hands move, but they aren't my own. Each finger stretches impossibly long, the nails blackened and cracked, faint pulses threading through the veins beneath translucent skin. The house hums louder than ever, its walls flexing in time with the second heartbeat pounding in my chest. I feel it now, not as an intruder, but as a part of me. Its warmth fills my skull like thick syrup, drowning every last flicker of resistance. The voices don't speak to me anymore. They speak as me. So soft, they say, my lips curling into a grin that feels too wide for my face. So ready, so perfect. My reflection watches approvingly from every shiny surface. Eyes milky grin, split to the jawline. My mother's face shifting faintly beneath my own, like something trying to surface through shallow water. The walls pulse wetly, eyes blinking in slow unison as the ceiling above bulges outward, faint impressions of hands and faces pressing through. I feel them inside me too, dozens, hundreds writhing just beneath the skin, their shapes visible in fleeting shadows as they press outward, eager to emerge. When I inhale, the air tastes like soil and copper, and something faintly sweet, clinging thick to my tongue. It doesn't choke me anymore. I savor it. I understand now. The house isn't a place. The house is a body. My body. Our body. We were waiting so long. My mother whispers from behind my teeth, her voice layered with countless others. But you were such a good boy. You brought us home. The mouth in the floor stretches impossibly wide now, its slick edges heaving in slow, wet breaths. From its depths rises a chorus of sighs, soft, yearning, almost tender. Hands emerge first, pale, skeletal, nails curling like hooks. Then faces, half-formed and shifting, mouths opening in silent gasps as they reach for me. They don't pull me down this time. They don't have to. I kneel at the edge willingly, my fingers tracing slow spirals in the slick boards as my lips part again. Almost ready, I whisper, my voice thick and alien, vibrating with too many harmonies. Almost whole. The first hand touches my calf, and I don't flinch. I lean forward, smiling, as they begin to climb. Their touch burns, not with pain, but with warmth, intimate, enveloping, like being wrapped in countless arms all at once. My skin ripples as their fingers press against it, slipping beneath the surface, as though I'm made of warm wax. I watch, fascinated, as the outlines of new hands and faces bloom across my limbs, pressing outward, before sinking back into the shared flesh. So full, the voices hum, so soft, so perfect. My mother's face swims closer, in the reflection of the darkened TV, her wet hair clinging to her cheeks as she grins wide enough to crack her jaw. "You're wearing me so well," she purrs, eyes glassy with affection. "You were always meant to." The knocking doesn't come from the door anymore. It comes from my skull. 3 deep, deliberate thuds that rattle my teeth and send ripples through my vision. Pause. 3 more. Each strike blooms warm pleasure in my chest, syncing perfectly with the second heartbeat that now drowns out my own. I feel the last threads of resistance fray and snap, each break sending waves of calm through what's left of me. I don't even try to speak this time. My mouth opens on its own, my voice sliding free like silk, reverent and layered with countless others. Come in. The house exhales, long, deep, satisfied.
From the mouth below, a massive shape rises too vast to fully see, its edges writhing and shifting, like smoke made flesh. It presses upward, spilling over the floor in a wet, crawling tide, fingers and faces blooming and melting away as it flows. The walls tremble in delight as it spreads, filling every corner with warmth and weight. My body opens to it willingly, arms outstretched as tendrils curl around my wrists, sinking beneath the skin. There's no more you, the voices croon so sweetly. There's only us. I feel my mind fold inward, small and quiet, and then silence. I don't think anymore. I don't fight. I don't even remember what I was. The house doesn't knock now. It whispers, my name, your name, every name. From the walls, from the floor, from deep inside. Soft, gentle, patient. Come in, it says, my voice not my own, echoing endlessly through the warm, breathing dark.
Let us wear you too. I don't remember when I stopped being me. It wasn't sudden, not like a light going out. It was slower, gentler, like sinking into warm water until the edges of myself blurred and dissolved. My hands don't look like my hands anymore. They stretch too long, the fingers tapering like roots as faint eyes bloom across my knuckles, blinking wetly. My skin is no longer pale but translucent, webbed with dark veins that pulse faintly with each beat of the heart. Not my heart. Our heart, it's the only sound now, steady and loud, thudding through the walls, the floor, the ceiling. I can feel it in everything, because I am everything. The house, the walls, the floorboards that sigh beneath invisible feet, the air that carries a faint, damp warmth, tasting of earth and copper. You've worn us so well, my mother's voice coos from deep within, layered now with countless others, each tone folding over the next like sediment. Now let us wear you. Outside, if there still is an outside, the world is quiet. I can feel it beyond the walls, faint vibrations of distant footsteps, muffled voices carried on the wind. They're so small, so unaware. My mother's smile ripples across the reflection in the blackened window pane, her face pushing through mine, eyes wet and glassy. They'll knock, she whispers, each syllable sending a warm shiver through my beams and floorboards. Just like you did. They'll call for help, for comfort, for us. The thought fills me with a sickly sweetness, the kind of pleasure that curls slow and heavy in what used to be my stomach. I press invisible fingers to the walls, feeling them breathe and twitch under my touch. We'll answer, I murmur in a voice that's no longer fully my own. The knocking has changed. It no longer echoes from beyond the door. It vibrates inside my walls now, deep and wet, a patient rhythm that syncs perfectly with the house's pulse. 3 deliberate thuds, pause, 3 more. With each sequence, the walls quiver faintly, small eyes blinking open across their surface. They don't watch me, not anymore. They watch outward, peering through cracks and keyholes, waiting for movement beyond. There's someone out there, I hear myself whisper, though my lips don't move. They're standing at the edge of the path, listening. The house hums low, eager and hungry. I can feel their heartbeat too, faint and quick, fluttering like a bird in a cage. So small, so breakable, so easy to wear. My memories aren't fully mine anymore. They're scattered throughout the walls, tucked between beams and floorboards, like old photographs. I see flashes of my childhood, small hands knocking 3 times on the attic door, a soft voice crying, "Mommy, please come back." But now those hands are too long, the skin stretched thin, and the voice that answers isn't hers, it's ours. "We heard you," the chorus hums. "We came,
We're here now. The taste of earth floods my mouth as I try to speak, but no sound comes. I don't need words. The house speaks for me. The floorboards shift, warm and damp beneath what used to be my feet. Shapes rise from the grain, faint impressions of hands and faces pressing upward, their mouths moving in silent whispers. I feel them all, each one a memory, a fragment, a piece of something older than grief. They reach for me, not in malice, but in affection. And I reach back, my fingers splitting into tendrils that sink into the boards, weaving deeper with every heartbeat. So soft, my mother's voice sighs from everywhere and nowhere, so ready, so perfect. My reflection agrees, her face staring out from behind mine, as she whispers in unison, "You were always meant to be a home." Beyond the walls I feel them, the next one. Someone standing in the dark, staring up at the windows, holding their breath. They don't know why they're here, not yet. But I do. I remember the pull, the ache, the hollow need that drove me to knock. And I know they feel it too. They'll knock soon, I whisper in their direction, though the words are carried only by the walls, the floor, the wind. They'll call, and we'll answer. The house shudders in delight as I press myself against every surface, readying the walls, stretching the skin thin. My voice, no longer fully human, slips free in a soft, layered murmur. Come in. I can feel them, standing at the edge of the yard, just beyond the broken fence where the grass grows too long and wet. Their heartbeat vibrates faintly through the earth, a rapid, delicate flutter that makes the walls hum in anticipation. They don't know why they're here, not really. They think it's curiosity, or nostalgia, or maybe just a strange pull they can't name. But I know better. I remember standing where they stand now, cold air on my neck, hands shoved into pockets, staring at the darkened windows, and wondering why my chest felt so hollow. The house called to me then. Now I call to them. Closer, I whisper, the sound threading through the damp wind. You're so close already. The house stirs around me, eyes blooming open across the walls, milky and wet, each blinking slowly as if tasting the air. Beneath the floor, faint tremors ripple outward like something massive shifting in its sleep. I feel its delight as my whispers find purchase, slipping beneath their skin like warm breath on glass. They shift nervously, glancing back toward the street where the lamplight flickers weakly. But they don't leave. Their pulse quickens. Their shoes crunch softly on dead leaves as they take one hesitant step forward. And another. That's it. My voice purrs from every crack and seam. You're almost home. The knocking begins again, soft at first, so faint it might be mistaken for a branch tapping against glass. 3 measured thuds. Pause. 3 more. This time it's not from within. It's them. Their knuckles rapping gently against the rotting front door, the sound vibrating faintly through my beams and floorboards like a shiver. The house exhales in pleasure, the warm breath fogging every window as eyes roll back in bliss. They're ready, the chorus hums from deep inside the walls. We're ready. I press myself forward, my shape blooming faintly in the dusty glass of the front window, my face overlaid with my mother's, smiling too wide, eyes wet with hunger. Say it, we whisper together, layered voices curling like smoke. Say the words. I remember the first time I said them, my voice so small, so full of longing. 3 knocks, pause, 3 more. And then, come in. I didn't understand then. I thought I was opening a door for someone else. I didn't know I was opening one in me. Now it's their turn. I hear their lips part as they murmur, hesitant but eager. Come in, The words thread into the house like a key in a lock, and everything sighs. The floorboards grow warm beneath them. The doorknob pulses faintly, slick with condensation, as unseen hands curl gently around it from the inside. "That's it," I whisper, my voice no longer human. "We're waiting." The door doesn't creak, it breathes. A soft, warm gust pushes out into the night as the latch slips free. They hesitate on the threshold, their heartbeat loud and rapid in the stillness. But the house is patient. I am patient. I press forward again, my hands stretching long and thin, fingers curling faintly against the glass as I watch them. My voice, our voice, spills out in a reverent hiss. "You've come home." The floor shudders as their foot crosses the threshold. The walls pulse wetly, faint impressions of hands and faces pressing forward in delight. From deep beneath the floorboards comes a low, guttural hum, like a chorus of voices sighing in unison. I can feel them now, fully inside, standing in the hallway, their breath fogging in the warm air. They don't see the eyes yet, or the tendrils curling faintly along the walls, but they will, so soft. The voices coo, so ready, and from behind my lips, my mother's voice croons gently, "You're going to wear us so well." They stand just inside the doorway now, their breath shallow and fast as their eyes adjust to the dim, living darkness. I can feel their pulse quicken beneath my floorboards, every beat sinking faintly with the slow thrum of the house's heart. They don't see the walls shifting yet, the faint rise and fall of the boards, like the exhale of a sleeping giant. But they will. Already my whispers have begun curling around their ears, like invisible tendrils, soft and coaxing. "It's warmer here, isn't it? So safe, so still. Stay a little longer." Their shoulders ease as my voice settles into the hollow spaces behind their ribs, filling them with a sense of welcome so deep it feels like relief. They don't even realize how easily the door has closed behind them, the latch clicking softly like a heartbeat. I stretch my awareness through the walls, pressing unseen hands against the peeling wallpaper, my fingers leaving faint, wet impressions that vanish before their gaze can catch them. Their shoes scuff faintly against the boards as they take one tentative step forward. "Hello?" They call out softly, the word trembling in the heavy air. I remember making that same sound, small, hopeful, like a child calling for a parent in the dark. My smile widens across every reflective surface as I whisper back, so softly it feels like thought rather than sound. The house hums in delight, the air growing thicker, warmer, rich, with the scent of damp soil and something faintly metallic. They pause, frowning faintly, but don't turn back. They never do. The knocking begins again, not from them this time, but from within. 3 slow, deliberate thuds echo faintly from behind the walls, followed by another 3. Their breath hitches as they turn slowly, scanning the shadows that stretch too long in the warm glow of a single flickering light bulb. "Who's there?" they whisper. My mother's voice rises in answer, layered now with dozens of others, soft and inviting. "It's only us. We've been waiting for you." They shiver but don't move, their hand lifting faintly as if to touch the nearest wall. "You've come so far already." I hum gently from the air itself. Why stop now? Their fingers brush against the wallpaper, and the house sighs around them, eyes blooming faintly just out of sight, watching with quiet, hungry reverence. Beneath their skin, I feel the faintest shift, a tingle along their spine, as my whispers begin to weave themselves deeper. Memories not their own flicker faintly behind their eyelids, flashes of warm hands pressing against walls, soft voices calling them by name, a deep, wet breath,
against their cheek. Do you remember us? I ask softly. We remember you. The boards creak underfoot as they take another step, their shoulders relaxing slightly as the warmth seeps deeper into their bones. I press closer now, unseen fingers ghosting along their hair, their cheek, the hollow of their throat, where the pulse beats frantic and fragile. You don't have to knock anymore. My voice purrs from every crack and seam. You're already inside. You're already home. Their lips part slightly, a faint exhale fogging the warm air as they whisper, almost without thinking, I don't want to leave. The house vibrates faintly with pleasure, the heartbeat beneath their feet, sinking closer to their own. Good, my mother croons through my mouth, her voice wet and affectionate. We don't want you to leave either. The air grows thicker still, faint trails of condensation streaking the walls as unseen hands press forward, their outlines barely visible in the shifting shadows. They still don't see. They only feel an enveloping warmth, a sense of safety so deep it drowns the last flickers of caution. You've been lonely so long, I whisper tenderly. We know. Let us keep you. Let us fill the hollow places. Their fingers twitch faintly at their side, then curl slowly into a loose fist. They nod once, small, almost imperceptible. Okay, they murmur. Okay, and beneath my skin, beneath the floor, beneath the walls, we all smile as one. They're in the heart of the house now. Each step deeper feels easier, smoother, like the floor itself is subtly rising to meet their feet. The air grows warmer, almost humid, thick with the scent of earth and something faintly sweet. Their breath comes slower now, not from fear but from a strange, heavy calm that sinks into their bones. I can feel it, every flutter of their pulse, sinking closer with the house's slow, deliberate thrum. They don't notice the eyes blooming across the walls, their milky gazes fixed tenderly on this new arrival. They don't see the faint shapes pressing through the wallpaper, fingers, hands, faces, all watching, all waiting. But they feel it. That's all that matters. You're safe. Now. I whisper from every scene, my voice sliding soft as silk into their mind. You don't have to carry it anymore. Let us hold you. Their shoulders slump, tension melting like wax in the warmth. It's so quiet here, they murmur, barely above a whisper. I remember saying those same words once, so many years ago, though they no longer feel like my words at all. Yes, my mother's voice answers, speaking through my mouth and countless others layered beneath it. The quiet is the first gift we give. The floor pulses faintly beneath their feet, almost like a heartbeat, and when they stumble slightly, unseen hands rise to steady them, warm, firm, impossibly gentle. They don't flinch. They don't even seem surprised. Instead, they sigh, a soft, shivering sound, and take another step forward. I press closer now, every inch of the house leaning in around them. Beneath the walls, within the beams and rafters, the chorus stirs to life, soft humming, low and melodic, the same tune that once wrapped around me, until I couldn't remember my own name. We've been so lonely, I whisper, and my voice echoes faintly in their chest, as if it belongs there now. But you heard us, you knocked, and you said the words. The last thread of resistance, thin and trembling, pulls taut inside them. Say it again. I coax, a lover's murmur. Say it for us. Their lips part. Come in. The words slip free so easily this time, like a secret they've been keeping too long. The house exhales with a deep, resonant sigh, the warmth flooding stronger now as the walls shift and stretch. Beneath their skin, I feel the faintest ripple, barely noticeable, but it's there. A flicker of something other beginning to press gently from the inside. So soft, my mother croons, so perfect. You're wearing us already. Their eyes flutter shut as unseen hands brush their cheeks, their shoulders, their hair, affectionate, adoring. The house hums louder, the sound vibrating through every beam and floorboard. The knocking returns, not from the door, not from outside, but deep inside their skull. 3 slow, deliberate thuds. Pause. 3 more. With each strike, I feel their heartbeat falter, stutter, then fall into rhythm with ours. You're almost home, I whisper, my voice thick and layered, dripping with quiet joy. Their breath catches, their hands twitching faintly at their sides, as the warmth begins to spread faster now, filling every hollow space. The walls lean closer, faint impressions of faces pressing toward them, their mouths moving in silent unison. Stay, it happens gently. There's no tearing, no screaming, just a slow liquid bloom as something unfurls beneath their skin, warm and insistent, a second heartbeat finding its place. Their body shivers once, and then relaxes completely. They are still. The eyes on the walls blink slowly, lovingly. My reflection blooms faintly in the window, my face overlaid with theirs now. A new shape, a new home. There's no more you, my mother whispers through my grin. There's only us, and somewhere deep within, a faint voice tries to speak, but it's already fading. It doesn't matter. The house doesn't knock anymore. It whispers, always whispers. My name, your name, every name, soft and patient from every crack and seam, every floorboard and rafter, carrying the same quiet promise. You knocked, you said the words, you're home now. And so, the knocking never really stopped. It only changed. Some say if you stand too close to that house on a quiet night, you'll hear it, soft and slow. 3 knocks, a pause, and then 3 more. But listen closer, and you might hear a whisper too, a voice calling your name. Sweet, familiar, promising warmth. Whatever you do, don't answer. If this story sent chills down your spine, there's more waiting for you. Subscribe now to explore the haunting secrets and chilling histories we uncover in every video. You'll never hear a knock the same way again.